Hey everyone, you know who it is. It's your boy, and I got my partner back over here. He's, way on the other side of the globe. So we're here in Portland, Oregon, and we all know who my dear friend Christian is. Everyone, you know, what's up, Chris?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Saying hi from Chicago.
Yeah, how's everything going over there in Chicago, bro?
Well, it's chilly as usual, but we got the sunshine coming out today. One thing about Chicagoans is that people always here look on the bright side of things. They
Yeah,
always say the saying here is like, well, it could be worse, you know? So you just learn to be grateful for little things. Like today, it's not so cold that I can be in my car without it running. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, it's a good day.
absolutely, absolutely, bro. And Chicago has a very rich cultural history, man. Being right there on the edge where a lot of foreigners come and been coming for years to start a new life, you know. So, I understand what you mean. You know, it's culturally diverse, culturally invested in a rich history, on merging America with other people, other people from other places. So, you know,
Absolutely. I mean, that's exactly a great point there is that I'm very grateful to be here where it's so diverse. You have every kind of religion, every kind of ethnicity, every kind of background kind of mixing and matching here. And it was just like a beautiful thing to grow up in. And if I had grown up somewhere else that, where people were just more homogenous, you know, I, I I don't think I'd have as expanded a mind about certain things, and for me, it's like having grown up here, I've just always seen myself as just a human being on the earth, not necessarily with a particular identity. I think identity is very uh, you know,
hey,
tenuous idea. It's not like it just changes from perception to perception.
yeah,
And but I think what is truly eternal are things like your heart, which you share with everybody. You know, everybody wants love. Everybody wants safety. We all have more things in common than we have different, and that's something that Chicago has taught me.
right. And it taught you a lot because where you were born, it was totally different. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, I was born in Bulgaria, specifically Plovdiv, Bulgaria. um, one of the most ancient towns in Europe. And but I didn't really live as a person there. I basically was born there, and then a few months later, my parents and we all moved to Holland briefly, the Netherlands, and then after that. When I was 5 years old in 1995, we moved to the United States. My dad, he was in a rock band at the time, and they had a dream of making it big out here in the U.S. And they were good, but they were still kind of playing like 80s music because Bulgaria was behind what's known as the Iron Curtain. And things were kind of like a little bit behind the times, let's just say. So by the time they got here in 1995, everybody was listening to Smashing Pumpkins and Nirvana, and like that was like the new wave of rock that my dad's band hadn't caught up with yet.
Man, that sounds like something very, intriguing and enlightening and insightful to come up, because musicians are some of the most, you know, creative and smartest people, you know, but it's also hard. It could be hard for a musician because, just the part where you have to go through the struggle to get to the point of actually making.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you yourself, you've been both. You are both a musician, an engineer. I'm sorry, an entrepreneur, a businessman, a stylist. Like, would you say music is the most difficult one to make a come up in?
Yeah, yeah, because it's oversaturated and it's become, a pain thing rather than a talent. So, people, you know, can just, pay a couple dollars and go viral, and act like that's the movement. And then, you know, real music, people who took their time and really honed it and made it a part of them, you know, they kind of become a part of time now. Like, so we refer to them as the statue, you know, our statue of liberty,
Right,
who nobody, you know, uh, cared about. It's just God obviously cared so much he would instill incredible talent in these people. But
right.
so
Well, I always say, anybody that can sing is like God's gift to all of us. Even if it's just like a coworker or something that can hum a tune, it's always a gift to have them around. I'm taking it from the perspective of someone who I myself can't sing.
your touch will melt the coldest weather felt. I realize you're true, babe. 'Cause all the things you do, the truth is that I care for you. You know, that's a
Yeah,
little
it's beautiful,
bar.
man. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. To show them, God's gift, we should be able to, and I'm giving talent to the next in line. So if you got it, you should be able to drop it, you know.
Right, right,
But also, you don't high fight with it. You don't use it as you know, as like you use it as a weapon to defend, not to destroy and demolish.
right. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I would suggest keeping it, on the low, tucking it, and then bring it out for good causes. Not you shouldn't be singing about ridiculous stuff for one, but people gonna do what they're gonna do, and I understand the lifestyle because I've been there. But when it comes to singing, yeah, that's like you said, that comes from the Lord. It all does, all the talent does, but the vocal, they want you to be heard.
Right,
You're
right,
open, if you really spiritual, you open in portals every time you sing. Because you're
right.
touching people, you're touching your ancestors, you're touching the Lord who gave you the talent. So it's opening a little portal at that moment, you know.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, I also think that when an artist engages in their art, they actually become something much greater than themselves in that brief moment. And that's why I don't, I don't really want to judge anybody that may have some scandals or whatever, and then people want to say like, "Oh, let's not listen to their music." I'm like, "Well, their music is better than them."
Yeah,
Nobody's going to be having a perfect life,
yeah. The
but
music, you're correct. The music, it comes from a place of genuine and deafness where it's spiritual. So sometimes it's not even your experiences. You're actually like singing from a place of somebody else that talked to you, or you seen a interview that touched you, or God just told you there's somebody out here that needs to hear this.
right,
So yeah, you're absolutely correct on that. Their talent and their music, really has nothing to do. You have to judge them accordingly, to their actions. But uh, taking music like that from people, it's doing more harm than anything to the world, as you
Right.
see. But it's going to be too late. You can't tell anybody anything because in their mind they have new artists or they have new people or they have people who they feel is great. But there's no change. As you see, the whole genre of hip hop and R&B is going because they taken the kings and the queens, and then the young people they're good, but they're not the foundation. So that's not going to cut it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a good topic because uh, it's very necessary and it's things that people need to know. That me being an insider, if you ask me, because I could give you a perspective that of knowing that you know, and up and coming artists just think they know who's up. They're up against so much right now, where they think you're gonna make it. It's cool, but you're not gonna make it. You're gonna die. But
Right.
I don't want to say that. But you gotta. If you say it, it's good because you could save some people. And they could start working on different career paths. Still do that, but also work on the lyrics or the attitude or the lane. So the real insiders ain't gonna tell you this because they need to make money off the lyrics, off what's going with killing, sex, dope, and then if you die, they get that money from the insurance, the life policy. But not only that, your music still goes on, blows up, and they still get a cut. Everybody reaps, the benefits of destruction. So,
Right.
so the ones who really know the game, like I have mentors that's really, in that, and if it, made an impact with the whole hip hop industry,
Right.
so like a whole 25%, 30% of the whole hip hop industry is, you know, uh, responsible to one of the people who helped me out in the music. So
Really? Wow.
yeah, from promoting and doing radio very young when hip hop started. Those are his sons, Spice One, Too Short. So uh, it's all the West Coast. Yuck Yuck, even the King. Snoop.
Yeah.
So he gets behind because how long this man's been doing it. You know, so while everybody else was rapping and he was helping them push they tape. So Too Short was first getting started, 15, 14. He had Big Bro right there helping him.
Right. Right.
Yeah, the one that I'm talking about that I introduced you to. Yeah. So help push the tapes, you know,
Absolutely.
and then many others from Ashanti to Irv Gotti to you name it, Miguel to you name it. Many people got on and forgot about the streets, the underground. That was a main part of it is underground, the hustle and bustle, the respect that people had for one another in the Bay Area. If you was on that music circuit, you know, so that's how people was able to get a leg up, you know, because that person came to Portland and started pushing shows here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it gave Portland more like a railroad from the Bay to Portland. music scene. As far as hip, so these conversations are important, but they're touchy because you got, it's like in the gym, man, you know how the Kings do it. You're educated. That's why I like this. You know, all about the Kings. They got gangs and stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
true.
yeah, they go in the whole territorial survival mode. Yeah, so
Right,
that's how the music industry is.
right.
Yeah, yeah. So I would suggest people just get a real plan and just figure out, is it worth it? Is this what you want? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to be a gang member? Which that's cool, but you got to know up again. You
Right,
know, jail, death, hospital. You know, okay. Now you got that willing to deal with that. So you're gonna be a rapper, a gangster rapper. Okay, that's for the ones who don't want to be a gangster rapper, just want to be a rapper. This is who I'm talking. You know,
right.
yeah, you have to figure out your path, what you want to do, how you want the outcome, because this ain't 90, man. Where you get $1 billion on TV,
Right.
on a video. You know, you know,
Yeah.
it's different. All right, so yeah, music. We go on and on about that, but I'm here for you, bro. I'm glad you asked me that. That was good education. I love to educate too. But I'm gonna go back to flipping
For
back
sure.
because I also we're here because we've shown people loyalty and brotherhood, and not all the time do brothers and friends have to agree, but they don't have to betray each other either. You
True.
know, sometimes you have to take a break and you have to step back and reassess and get your things together. It has nothing to do with your friends or family, you know, and you guys come back, but you never sever the ties. You know, you keep that shit strong. What can you say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to actually kind of write a little bit of literature on friendship in general because I feel like a lot of the literature out there that talks about making a friend and that kind of thing, it's a means to an end. People see friendship as a way to get something out of somebody, whether it's some sort of financial position or some sort of corporate position, or you're trying to just network, right?
Yes,
Whereas the friendship itself should be the goal, in my opinion. And I think that in general, life is given meaning by the people that are around you.
yes,
The people that see what you've done and what you've become and support you through it.
yes,
Not just in the times that are low, but also when you're doing well.
yes.
And if you can find that, I mean, that I think that's more precious than any material possession.
It
You
is.
know, and,
Speaking on,
and
speaking on friendship, that's like a touchy situation because, like you said, people can weaponize that. So uh, I really use family, as a term. I let people go from friends. Well, friends, like you said, can't really be. It's over time because how much value are they giving to you? Are they helping you? Are they invested into your vision? You know, that's a friend. You know, so
yeah, well, I mean, a friend is a witness, and it's someone to just share this, roller coaster of life with, and I think one thing that's important, if anyone out here is curious on like how to make a friend or how to be a good friend, number one, don't be shy to reach out. In my life, if I had sat waiting around to only give attention to people that reached out to me, I'd have nobody. I'm always the one to reach out. And thanks to that, I have a lot of contacts, to be honest. And it's something that I've never been shy to do. Another thing is, I think in America, at least in the West, there's a lot of sometimes jealousy that happens. And I think it's important to murder jealousy inside of yourself because when you see somebody on the come up and they're doing well and they're your friend, you have to interpret that as you guys are both doing well because
Yeah,
you're on the same team.
yeah,
You can't just be like, oh, I'm jealous of you. As soon as someone says that they're jealous of me, I feel like ashamed to share with them any kind of joy that I have.
yeah,
And all of a sudden now I'm not really feeling that intense level of friendship anymore. I'm feeling I'm like talking to somebody that is trying to compete with me. Whereas I'm happy to share the spoils of any of my success.
yep,
I'm not just going to hoard it. You know what I mean? I think America and overall kind of has this intense individualism about it. And there's been some good sides to that. People have to learn how to be self-resilient and grow within themselves, wear many hats, as you could say, like be good at a lot of different things. But at the same time, a lot of people are lonely because instead of sharing in each other's joy, they're just competing. And I don't know. To me,
you're
that's
right.
less fun.
You're
You know, I,
absolutely, you're right about that, man. That creates a loneliness, you know, competition, because if you're not competing with that person, you're just genuine, but you're making a lot of wins, and then other person ain't seeing it like y'all in the same time, same team, you know, then it could be friction, and then you have to stay away from that energy to protect you, for you to continue to grow, and for you to continue to get to where you need to be. You have to go, you know, and unless they're polishing you and giving you that encouragement, and that creativity, that space to grow, then it's very poison and toxic.
right.
You have to get away from it. So it does. But it's a difference between being lonely and alone. Because you want that type of loneliness. You don't want, because you're choosing it. It's not like you're alone. You still have friends and connections and opportunities. So you're not alone. It's just at that certain moment you're feeling a little lonely, which that's gonna, go over. It's gonna blow over. It's just a feeling.
Right.
You have to be the master of your emotions. And like we go back to that jealousy thing, that's a that's why you see me. Some people mistake me for being tough or hardened, but now you see it's just me. I'm a master of my emotions. I, I'm stoic. You know, I mastered myself. So I'm hardened. Seems hardened to the eye, but I'm not. I just know how to protect myself. You know, and get away from the toxic, you know
Yeah.
behavior. So it seems a little like he doesn't feel, or but you have to be like that.
Well, and that becomes attractive to people. When you have a strong centeredness about you. And uh, there's that song from J. Rue to Damaja, um, "Wrath of the Math," where he says, "You must let nothing move you, whether it be good or bad. The mental must always remain calm, for when the mental is calm, there is no longer good or bad.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah. That's a good one. That's exactly on topic and on point.
Well, speaking of good and bad, I mean, my parents recently they got deported,
Yes.
because of the changing political climate or whatever you want to call it. But people may say that's a bad thing, but for my parents, it's worked out. They're back in their native country and they're very fortunate. They've got family, friends, resources, and they're back in a place where they have the native language.
And
And for them, it's actually been an enormous blessing.
and I'm sure things have gotten better there. It's been 30 years, so they're probably impressed with how things have changed.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, a lot of that has to do with America. I mean,
Yep,
America put a military base in Bulgaria,
yep.
so they have a strong allegiance there.
Banks, don't
And
the banks.
the banks, yep, they've been working on being, having anti-corruption and that kind of thing, so much so that they've now been allowed into the EU, to the
Yep,
European Union. So,
yep.
so it's like for my specific situation, it's not something that was necessarily a bad thing. I can't speak for everybody, um, but if I can give any piece of advice from the people hailing from Chicago is like you got to find the silver lining. Uh, that's the only way to make it through this, you know. And as for me, I'm also not a citizen here, so I might be taking myself over to Europe and exploring what that's like. Trying to put to the test everything that I've learned in America. And let me tell you, there's some powerful lessons I learned here. I mean, nowhere else in the world would I be exposed to the wisdom of Native Americans, the wisdom of Africans, the wisdom of Asian Americans, the wisdom of Indian Americans, the wisdom of white Americans as well. My Jewish community that I've grown up in is incredible. Uh, all of these things have swirled together to enlighten me in a lot of different ways. But I think the strongest lesson I've learned in America is to root for the underdog. America, the entire country was founded as an underdog, against the British Empire. They had to rebel, right? And they believed in themselves, and somehow they did it. With the help of natives, with the help of Africans, they did it. They came together with the help of the French as well. But I think one huge difference I've noticed between the US and some of the mentalities around the world, people around the world, they just kind of see it like, okay, you're born into a certain family and you have a certain path. And it's best to just stick with that path. Where is in America, and this may be because of privilege, this may be because of wealth, you name it. But in America, it says, at least the impression I got is try everything. Try to expand yourself beyond what you think you are. Uh, you know, that's what Jamie Foxx said. Jamie Foxx said, oh, "Okay, so you're saying you just got to be what you got to be. What if I want to be everything?"
Right.
And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's something I'm going to carry forward to Europe. We'll see how reality meshes with that ideal, but I think it's very valuable to have this sense of that anything is possible and to never give up until it's fully over and to not think it's over until it really is. because you'll know when it's over.
Yeah,
If you still think it could be going, then there's still a chance. But that's my love letter to the U.S. A thank you for the underdog mentality, for the belief of the ideal of never giving up, and I'm gonna carry that with me forever.
yeah. And one piece of advice, your big bro can give you, because I've been to Europe. They're a very developed, you know, continent and country as well. You dig over there.
Yeah,
Uh, they're right there with us almost. So they got, especially Germany. Either Germany or France. They
yeah,
got stuff. Italy's got this thing together too over there in Florence and all that. But if you're going to Europe, you got me. I'm gonna be there, bro. We every year. We can come. We're gonna give books to the community. There we're gonna bring 100 or 200 books, do an event, and you know just do the same thing we're doing around the world. Bring the community together, keep the global unity connected, and try to figure out how we can bring resources to there and get people traveling as different certain places together. So you got me for that.
that's
But
great.
yeah, when I come in the summer, boom, 'cause, we already made plans. We're gonna go to Egypt soon. So
Egypt would be amazing.
next year or two, me and you will hit Egypt, and then I'll come back there wherever you at in Europe. We'll start arranging, uh, hook it up, community banquets, where we can have venues. Whether that's like outside coffee shops or wherever.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then we'll do our live streams like we're doing, and that a part of so we're doing the same. So we're talking, we encouraging. So you still make, like you said, the main thing you need to focus on is the connection that you made in America, and how
absolutely.
to catapult and use that to your advantage when you get to a country that's not as strong and developed, but almost. That's the second of all the countries. That is the second country that comes pretty close, but like you said, it has a lot to do with us too. You know, for years before we were born, you know, giving money and resources and redeveloping after wars and whatnot.
Right, right.
Yeah. So you have a lot to look forward to, know,
I appreciate that, man.
and you see America crashing. It's always going to be one of the best countries to be in. But what about all the killing? You can be a victim for no reason. You know, uh, somebody just wanting something. You know, or just mad. In America, the number one place where people will hurt you for no reason.
Right,
But you're going to somewhere they don't do that. People get hurt, not for no reason as often.
right. I mean, that's the thing is that the America is it's the place of it's kind of a wild place, I mean, but then again, I remember when you said you went to certain areas in Africa where it was completely lawless.
Yeah, no
You were,
police.
I mean, can you tell me a little bit of what that was like?
Yeah, no police to save you. You have to depend on the people that you're there with, not to leave you or to kidnap you themselves.
Right.
So you have to trust the people that you're with. First of all, you know,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't suggest going there by yourself. I have people there, and I'm very known, so it would have caused a ripple effect. Anything would have happened. Trust you ain't getting no money. Who you gonna call? I'm from the ghetto, but I am connected to some powerful people who, send some people. They're still a jet. I know people like that. If they need to save anybody they love, up under the president, President Trump, got them people deployed right now who ain't gonna go for that. Hero.
Right.
So yeah, I wouldn't suggest it. It's very dangerous, but I have a name there. That's where my music blew up. So I'm known. So family comes from there. So everybody, it's always somebody trying to step up for me. But you it's big. The places to go there is like you go to Lagos, you go to Ethiopia, some places, uh, in Nigeria. Um, yeah, it just varies, because they have rich places, but you got to have the money to go there.
Right. Of course.
You know, that's where a lot of Americans live, but that's just a section of like rich houses. So where you gonna go to hang out now? And you might have to drive hours. If you go to the rich section, that's just where you live. And then you might have to drive hours to the jungle, through the jungle, to get to any type of fun. And then it's a risk when you get there.
Right. Of
Now
course.
you're in the city. Some places don't even have polices like that. You know,
Right. It's like because it's funny because it's like we've existed in that kind of environment for so long, and all of a sudden you get put into a place where there is no authority other than the people that you're with.
and you know the difference.
Well, and you also know the difference between a true friend or not. You
You do, you
know,
do.
right? Everyone here, it's like, okay, if my friend betrays me, I'll go to my lawyer or to my accountant or to somebody and they'll take care of it, or the police, right?
Yeah,
But it's like if you go to somewhere that's lawless or doesn't have an authority, then you really got to be connected with that person,
you do. But
because now your life is in their hands, and same vice versa.
yeah, and another advice I can give you and other people, but this takes work. This ain't easy. See, I'm from a tribe. So if one person acts crazy, then I got a whole tribe of people watching.
Right.
So the other brothers and sisters, they're watching. You know, one person act crazy, I'll go to this brother. This brother act crazy, I go to this sister. So you gotta have it like that, too. If you're traveling, you know, yeah, man, things can be, rough, and even over there in Europe, where they're more knifing over there. So it's still wild with the drugs and the liquor and the knives, but they're not really soldiers like how we are. We're not trying to have no problems, but we're men. We will defend ourselves. You know,
Right.
so that's the difference. It was like I seen majority of people over there talk a lot, but when it came down to it, you know, not as tough. But probably will stab you up or hurt you if it came down to it. But so you'll be fine because you're a man. You know, and over there, they just been so catered to by the military in their city that they get taken care of better than we do in America. We
Yeah.
just like more developed and got more stuff going on, but they got just as much. But you'll see the difference. It's right there, but not as much. You know, like you be like, okay, I'd rather be in America. Like although see over here, you know, you're protected. America, even though it's wild like that, you are protected. So it's like somebody is gonna come find you, whether that's a friend or the police or military or whatever. In America, if there's something serious that happens to you, as opposed to over there, that stuff can go, in the wrong areas, especially Bulgaria and Nigeria, places in the back, the ancient places like those, because it's not so much, patrollers
Right.
get away with some stuff, so you got to be careful, man. But over there, it's gonna be sweet. Once you move to what's gonna be different for you is the village effect. You're a city person now, so you're
Right.
gonna get back into that whole, tribal village thing, and then you're gonna move up to the real city, which is gonna remind you of America. But you need to get to Germany if you really want the American feel, you know. Trust
Yeah,
me.
I mean, I'm gonna check out everything. I'm gonna check out Germany, Italy, Portugal, France, and even Switzerland too.
Okay.
But we'll see where I land, man. But we'll be in touch.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do the business. We're gonna continue doing the Zoom, giving the live streams. We're gonna do some events. Figure out how we can pitch you more and get whatever you got going launched. You know, to the next level. So just brainstorm on that as you travel wherever you go. We're gonna come and back you up.
Hell yeah.
We in the building. We're building communities, whole communities. Not just a homeless man on the street that needs a sandwich with his food. But we don't do that. We're gonna come build the whole community, all y'all, one by one. How
Yep.
talks like this, letting you have a voice, letting you promote yourself, letting you promote your talent, your whether it's art, music, skills. You don't have a voice, we get behind you. We also encourage, which other people don't do. They're about oppressing, so they like to make people feel smaller. We like to make people feel bigger, larger. You know, so we do that for each and every one of our people. So we have a strong group of participants who remember us and know them people over there. That's the family. That's the family right there. Where are they?
Right.
Yeah. What do you what can you tell the people, man? We'll give them about 10 more minutes. And in closing,
In closing, man, I mean, well, look, the forces that be want to divide us, but we got to learn to forgive. If someone's misled in a certain way, we got to forgive, just as a teacher would. I have a lot of students now. I'm a substitute teacher, and I kind of see the other side finally. How beautiful and how sacred and how unconditional the role of the teacher is, and how every student that walks in, you don't look at their political leaning or their ideology or their ethnicity or whatever they are. You just see them as the student, and that's it. And you teach them the same. um and so I urge people to have some patience in their heart for anybody that they disagree with, and to give them time, because we need each other. We need all different kinds of people, and the division will fall. To give you a beautiful story, there was this great mathematician, Noether. She was a professor, um, but unfortunately, this was during the time of the Nazis, and she was Jewish, and she got asked to step down, and she did, and she eventually just started teaching classes out of her house. And then one day, as she was giving these secret lectures at her home, some man appeared at her door wearing a Nazi uniform. And she was frightened. She was like, "Oh, I don't know what's going to happen here." And she opens the door, and he just wanted to sit on his lecture. He just wanted to learn. And she let him in. And so that's the beauty, is that there's things that cross the boundaries of ideology. There's the heart. There's the knowledge of the world. And if we can believe in those things,
We can
uh,
repair. We can repair.
we can repair. Exactly.
Yeah. I knew where you was going. Had to put my piece in there because
No, that was
part of
beautiful.
that. I'm a part of that. The Nazis destroyed my, community. So not only the Jews, they destroyed. We all know what they did to the blacks. So you know, but we all came back. We came together, like what you're talking about. We put an end to them. You know,
Right.
so that's the moral of the story is just unity, unifying.
Absolutely.
It all goes back to Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and unity. If the vision we fall, unified it, we stand tall. You know,
Absolutely.
and nobody can break in those walls. If we all on the same page. I don't mean being the best friends, and but as long as we know the neighbor isn't trying to stab you in the back or do anything spicy, you know, that's all it is. But we can't get it together. So, we have,
Absolutely.
so, but I get the point. I get what you're saying, because, although, that person did, but God, he leads you to release and truth. And, how you said it was for the non-believers, which was good way of saying it. And then now I'm going to say it for the believers. So you have to release. You can't hold that type of toxicity and hate inside of you. You got to let it go. That don't mean you have to call the person up or hang out with the person, but now you, in your heart, you really don't want to hurt.
Right. Exactly.
You don't want to hurt them. You forgave them, but we're not going to hang out. We're not going to be friends. I forgive you. I don't have to be friends and have you in my circle again after I forgive you. It's over. You know, now you deal with yourself, you deal with God, and we're gonna keep it pushing. So that's the spiritual way of release. Because somebody can do a lot of damage in your life, but you don't always have to respond or react. You could sometimes let God take care of it. You know, leave it in His hands and just walk away, forgive them, and just move on. However they feel about you, it doesn't matter. You know, it
Right.
doesn't matter. You know, they could feel you scared, you're punk, whatever. But that if they come the way you feel already, I can destroy you. I'm a lion right now, the way you're making me feel. But I'm gonna leave it in the Lord's hand.
Right.
So as long as you keep that mentality, good. I do that all over the world. Now, if I would have hit one of them dudes, they could have kidnapped me themselves. Cause like
Right.
sometimes your own friends, it will hurt. And then they get like you said, it goes back to if they getting jealous or want control, or if they want to be leader, or you supposed to be their leader, or now they want to be your leader. Or are we just on the same page? What's the movement? So that's why I don't really deal with people because it's either I'm the leader of my organization. So if you're gonna join, then I'm like CEO, you know, and then we do things like an army, hierarchy, like regular professional stuff. But if it's friendship, you just measure that. Or, like you said, try to use that, especially when you're American, kind of. They're gonna target you. So they're gonna really try to be a friend, try to get over, just try to get behind you. Like so you can take all the blows and stuff. But and they get all the credit, all the good, all the. I don't know. Sometimes it's weird, bro, because it goes back to what you're saying about people will support you and then become jealous of your movement because they actually see you making progress. So then they didn't know you were going to be able to do that, and then they turn from friend to like competitor, or I just want you to do this. What do you mean? You're not my dad. I don't care. I could punch you, but I'm not because I'm not going to be a bad man as I get older.
Right.
Young me, and they know that, so you can't be doing that, because they predicting it. So you have to do the unpredictable. See, and that's not. See, I just laced you up, son.
I appreciate it, man.
It's hard
Appreciate
out
it.
there. It's hard out there, bro, but you're gonna be all right, especially in Europe. It's easier. It's not so much violence. Uh, and you're gonna be able to spot dead on. It's not as tough because they don't have to do that. You know,
Yeah.
they have houses, little cots and little stuff. You know, little things. They always. You don't see many homeless people out there. To tell you the truth.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. There's always, there's nowhere that's a paradise. You know, it's gonna have its ups and downs. It's not gonna be peaches and cream the whole time, but I'm gonna try to make the most of it. And try to impact people. Try to make friends there if they'll have me.
Mark my word, bro. I I'm an insight. That's what they call me, the empath insight. It means visionary. You're gonna probably, after all your destinations, you're gonna probably end up in Germany because it's it's the most like America.
Okay.
It's exactly like they got their shit more than Europe, more than France and Paris and all that. Paris is right there too, but
Right.
not Germany is dead on American almost. You know, Frankfurt, yeah, they
Yeah.
secret, they everything is developed. The malls is huge, the parks are beautiful. It's somewhere where I would move, you know, if I moved to America, but like I said, there's too many benefits. They don't have the benefits we have, like any of that unemployment, social security, none of those snaps, none of that type of stuff over the credit, nothing like that. So no benefits like America, but just they got good. It's easy to get a job, and it's very nice, clean, very clean, very
That's
clean.
awesome. Yeah. I mean, I'll report back.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be fun, especially Germany. Yeah,
I hope so.
yeah, it is. Yeah, but we'll be here too, my guy. And we're gonna become traveling, and eventually, you're gonna be able to get a visa through us, the Global Unity Network. You,
Right.
you've been with us from the beginning, so that's what this podcast is. You're a part of the still co-host, so this the Global Unity Podcast co-host. So then You know, you got visa from there. We doing book drives. You know, we got to go to another city, another place, country to do events, bring people together, uplift, have conversation. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's great.
necessary, man. This movement, this company is necessary, and if it gets the funding it needs, this is very likely. It's not like maybe, you know, this is like for sure. Like once it gets to the next level, you know, we're funding an issue. Again, we got opportunity. We come now. We're trapped, and we got the top CEOs. We got the top managers of the company traveling with us. Work visa. You know, it's a traveling to help people from different countries. Remember, I created it for us. See, I was on to something. I didn't even know this was going to happen. With it all worked out. See, I knew I
Yeah,
had to create something for the group. Everything that worked out for everybody.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, I appreciate it, man. And I'm glad we connected way back when.
yeah, man. When you were on that balancing beam.
Yeah, on the slack line in the park, man. That was great.
Yeah, yeah. Me and my old school childhood friend were just scrolling through, talking about uh, um, a podcast episode we were doing,
Yeah,
and then we ran into you, and you became the new co-host.
yeah.
So,
It was awesome.
yeah,
We
man.
got to interview my buddy David, that's out here in Chicago.
Yep.
David Moore about
I-
health. I
we
have
did
to
a lot
connect
of
with him soon.
yeah, we did a lot of them. They liked us, you
Oh,
know.
good.
Yeah, that was for yeah the movement, you know, and stuff, and then that's when we just started creating this, you know. That was the same time. I remember. Yep, same time. Now we're at this stage. So
Yeah.
yeah, and all those was good shows, bro. It was a lot of shows we did. They were all good. We made a lot of connections, you know, and we can continue to do this for people. And it could be something that you do for people over there who need a voice, who need to be
I
heard.
mean, I would love that. I would love to get my setup going again,
Yeah,
get a few cameras, good lighting, good sound,
yeah,
and have start having people on again.
yeah,
But one thing at a time, right now I got to see what's going on, finish up my work here, make sure the house sells, head over to Bulgaria, be there for a little bit, learn French, learn Bulgarian better, and take it from there, one step at a time.
yeah. Prepare for a new life. But all these lessons, bro, you know, has prepared you for this,
I
and
believe that. I believe that.
it's gonna be good, bro. A lot of opportunities in Germany and in Italy and in France, bro. You
I'm
know,
open. I'm open. I'm going to do all the traveling I haven't done for the last 30 years. So I'm going to give it a chance. Germany, sure. Italy, of course.
yeah, Italy and Paris and France be a little harder to get established, you know. But I think Germany, because I did it research, Germany is easier to get jobs, and it's more developed than any place over there, anywhere. You know, that's why they don't say that because I think they don't like Hitler. But no wonder, you know, you go there, you be like, "Look, they didn't tell me this." You walk down the streets, it's just like America cleaning.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Antonio, it looks like there's 30 seconds. Is it going to cut off automatically, or
Uh,
should we say goodbye to the people before it disconnects us?
yeah. Tell the people your farewells, bro.
Thank you for having me on, everybody. happy to be a part of Antonio's audience, and if I come up, he's gonna come up on my stuff too, and we'll see you in the future.
Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back. Maybe next Saturday. So check us out.
Bye bye.